Hi, I'm Wilna and thank you for joining me. So this video is part one of our artist notebook. So usually they call it a traveler's notebook, but I'm an artist and I needed a notebook, so I made one and I call it the artist notebook. So in this video we're going to make the cover. So I made it out of canvas and we're going to paint on it, and this is how it looks. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And then tomorrow, in the next video, whenever you're watching it, the next video will be the inside pages that I do with 100% monoprinting. And I'm just so excited about this. So thank you for joining me in this video. If you have any comments or questions, just ask them in the comment section and I will reply. I will also post a full list of everything I used in the description, as well as the sizes for the little album, the cover, as well as the inside pages. Thank you for those of you who have left me such kind comments. The second thing is thank you for everyone that's been sharing my video. And then thirdly, thank you for subscribing to my channel. And that way you won't miss the video, okay? So enjoy the video and let me know what you think. Bye. Hi, this is Wilna, and today I am going to show you how to make this little artist notebook. So usually they call it a traveler's notebook, but I decided to call it an artist notebook. And I am just so excited to show you the whole process. This first video, we are going to make the cover, and then in the second video, we will make the inside pages. So, which I will be doing with monoprinting on a jelly plate. So I'm very excited. Are you excited? Okay. So the cover we are going to make out of canvas. And that was what I was thinking when I decided to do it. I wanted to paint on canvas and use that as the cover. And basically you want your cover to be 8.5 by 8.5 inches. So you just have to cut it a little bit bigger. I would suggest you cut it 9 by 9, but I'll show you in a little bit, because we are going to fold it over and just make it neat. So that's 8.5 by 8.5. It's almost a square. Mine is not completely a square, but I think if I were to remake it, I would just do it 8.5 by 8.5. So now I'm doing the lazy man's measuring here, and actually you want to put it flush. So I'm cutting it twice as big, and I'll tell you why in a second, because I'm going to fold it over and just stitch it so that there's a pretty inside and a so it's neat on the inside as well. You want to just measure it a little bigger than 8.5. So you know what, I'm not really explaining very well what I'm doing here, but hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So 1/2 inch bigger than the size is what you want to cut. So I'm just measuring those lines, and then I'm just going to cut it out. I am using just a canvas, so I have a bunch of these canvases that are not they're quite shallow. I think the frame is about 1/2 inch wide. So I love to use these to teach painting on, and I also like to use these if I want to try something new and I don't want to, try it on a expensive canvas. So they're not super cheap. I got them at Michael's in bulk, so I have quite a few, and I decided to sacrifice one as the cover for my painting. So now I'm just going to cut it with a craft knife. Just be careful. When I watch myself do this on video, I always like scream in my head, be careful. Anyway, so there you can see, this is more or less what I want. I can just cut it and listen. Okay, so one thing you know about me is I'm not a big planner, but this worked out pretty well. But then again, I've done enough of this in my life. So now I'm going to cut it flush. I just want it all to just be at least neat. And then just cut the edges so that they all line up. And then I'm going to cut 1/2 a little smaller. So I'm going to cut it like that. Just going to cut the edges off. And then, because I want to fold over the other half. And now, other way, Wilna. Okay, I'm just screaming at myself here. You want to cut the corners. Yeah, that way. Good girl. And then you just want to cut the other corners as well, so that when you stick it down, it's it just sticks down, you know, seamless, so it doesn't overlap. And now I'm going to use super tacky glue. You can use any white glue, and I'm just going to glue the two sides together because I don't want any space in between, you know, the two parts. But also my thinking was then the cover will be a little bit sturdier, and I also think once I've primed it with gesso and once I've painted with acrylic paint on it, it should be fairly sturdy, and it is. It's not super sturdy, but it's I didn't want it to be hard anyway, because most traveler notebooks are made out of leather, so I decided just to use canvas. Okay, so now I'm just going to stick it down, and then I'm going to fold over those little flaps and then I'm going to stitch it. You can see I didn't do a great job, like maybe do a better job than me, people, but it worked. And then you just want to cut those little corners as well, so that when you stick it down, it doesn't overlap. I didn't put a lot of glue on the edges because I don't want to stitch it down and then it peels through. So just a tiny bit, just to hold it. Because in the end, the stitch will keep it all together more than the glue. The glue was just to get it all very flush. Okay, I'm speeding up the video a little bit. And now I'm just going to run it through my machine. And then I'm going to start painting. You know, that's how simple it is. So I have a sewing machine that I actually only use for paper. So I don't know how to sew. My mum was the seamstress. She was amazing. She always took everything out of my hand. So I decided, well, I'll just stitch on paper. But sometimes it helps, because now I'm very happy that I have the sewing machine, and I'm just like stitching on the edge of this little album cover. You know, there's so much you can do. I think you can quilt it, you can, I don't know, you know, you can, there's so many options to do it. But what I like about this one is now it's nice and neat on the inside as well. And so yeah, I'm just running it on the edge so it looks nice. Don't put your sewing machine away. If you use a sewing machine, I just put mine to the side because you want to stitch your inside pages as well once you're ready there, you know. So there you go. I love this, and now we are going to paint our little cover as the little painting. So get your coffee and then let's start painting. Right. The first thing you want to do after you've gotten your coffee is to just add some gesso, and then you just want to paint it. So I'm not scraping it as I usually do with a card. I'm painting it because I'm painting slightly thicker than when I do it on a page. And I do it because I want the gesso to really stretch it a little bit tighter, maybe 1%. So that's just what I'm thinking. If you want a harder cover, because this one is quite soft, you can actually put a piece of cardboard just in the middle of your album there on either side, maybe 2 pieces. And then that's one way. You want to paint the inside as well, and that will also help with just giving it a little bit more structure. There you go. And once this is dry, we're going to paint our painting. So I'm not going to overthink it. Like nothing I do, I don't think, people. That's actually what I want to say. So I have a little Pinterest image that caught my attention. Did it look like this? No. But it was just a starting point for me, inspiration. And a little bit of acrylic ink in a little jar, and I'm just using a brush and I'm just going to paint the drawing. I want you to tell me in the comments, once you've seen the finished drawing, if you like the drawing more without the color. Because I was thinking I want to make more of these, but maybe I'll do one where I'm just doing a drawing on the cover and not even adding color, you know. So that's one option, is to just do the ink drawing and not add paint, and that's beautiful too. So I don't know, I like both. But then again, one thing that I love to do is to have painted areas when I do a painting, and then also these unfinished areas, you know. So that's just something that I personally love in artwork, is to have that contrast. So I'm just using the image on my, you can use any image. I don't think it's copyright, because in the end it doesn't even look the same. I don't use the same colors, and also I sometimes use a conglomerate of images to make up my bouquets, but I like to have a visual idea of what I'm doing. I don't like to just draw out of my head. I like to see something and just draw that. Okay, and now I'm just going to add a few words, and literally this will be the only spray painting I do on this whole project. Just putting something underneath my little canvas, and I'm just going to spray paint a couple words with a dark blue spray paint. And again, this is not to be read, it's just for a little bit of texture. I just want to see how it translates on canvas and what happens once I start painting it. Okay, now I'm going to paint, and I always paint my flowers first. And you know what, if you like this process, I have another painting video on my YouTube channel that you can go and have a look at. And I also have a little painting class on my website, iheartstudio.ca, and you can enroll. And I just teach you to paint with acrylic paints. It's not rocket science. It's just the way I paint, and that's what I teach. You know, you can't teach anything that you can't do, right? So I'm using acrylic paint, and I'm just going to go ahead and paint the flowers, paint the leaves, and paint this little canvas. as the cover for our little album. So I love painting with my little ink droppers, and this is just Liquitex acrylic ink. So what I'll do in the description below the video, you will see all the products that I use, and I will just list the colors that I mostly use. It might not be the exact same ones as here, but at least it's a list and you can get started if you don't know and have no idea where to start with acrylic painting. The big thing is actually to let the layers dry before you carry on and not do as I do, paint wet on wet. And but you know what? It looks really bland right now, but once you add the green and maybe a blue background, it will look really pretty. So painting a little painting is actually so much fun. And I realized something that I think this might be a start of something new for me. I absolutely love the idea of this artist notebook. And I think, like I've said before, it would make beautiful little gifts. And especially with the monoprinting. And I'll talk about that in the next video. But just working on a very flat, in a very flat way, but having that depth because of layers. And that's what I love about monoprinting, and that's what opened up a whole new world for me. So I just love that. Okay, so now I'm adding the green, and you can see I have a couple of different colors on my palette. And I just love to mix in the colors and mix new colors of green so that it doesn't repeat too much, and make it interesting. This color is called Turquoise Deep, and I experimented with a little bit of washing, just washes over this canvas, and I like it because I don't want to cover up the words too much, and I wanted to see, how will it translate if I just wash a little bit of color in between the leaves, and it's just this whole working on a small scale. I'm used to painting big canvases, so for me to work on a small scale is always a little bit of a challenge, but you know what, I think it turned out nicely. I like it, and every time you do it, it will look different. There you can see the white paint I'm using is actually a paint, it's not the Liquitex Basics, it's Liquitex Heavy Body Acrylic. And you can see when I paint with it how it covers up everything underneath it. So it's very opaque, which is nice, So one thing that you do need when you attempt this project is baby wipes. You would need a whole bunch of them, especially to clean your jelly plate, which I found out. So I'll be buying them in bulk. And I'm just going to paint the background. So I actually have my little heat embossed gun there, and it just dries everything a little quicker. I find that when you paint, I wanted a more dry brush look, so it helps when you paint with a little bit of heat. It just dries so much quicker. Made a mess there on that little flower. Luckily I have some extra pink, so I'm just filling it in again. One of my favorite things is totally off topic. Right now is in South Africa, they have a live, don't make a mess, people. Watch and learn. In South Africa, in the Sobbie they have a live stream of a game drive twice a day. And being in Canada, being South Africa, and I actually lived in that area for 10 years. So it's very close to my heart. I've been in the Sobbie Sand so many times, more than I can count on my hands, because my best friends have a camp there. So I've basically been there more than I can count. That is by far my absolute favorite place in the whole world. And so every morning and every night we watch the live game drives, and we just love it. And there's this one guy, his name is James, and he is the funniest guide. And he was actually narrating a rugby match in Welsh, and it's so funny. And I was thinking, what if I, start narrating, something else while people are watching my videos? And I'm like, yeah, that would just be weird. But it's highly entertaining, and I can recommend it. We were just laughing and enjoying the watching them find all these animals and the lion cubs and the leopards, and it's beautiful. So that's just totally off topic. So another thing, if you're watching the video the day I posted it, which will probably be Friday, May 8th, I'm going to make so I'll just post this one. I'm not going to premiere it. And then tomorrow, Saturday at 1 o'clock, I will have a live premiere for the inside pages. So I'll watch that with you. So if you have any questions on this video, you can leave me a comment if you're watching it later, or you can ask me tomorrow in the live chat. It's always weird to talk about current days, because I know it might be years later and you watch this for the first time. Then I just want to say to you, this is a time capsule of the coronavirus time. So I call it love in the time of coronavirus, and this is my love gift to the world, people, to make art and relieve a little bit of stress that way. So that's just absolute rambling, but it was fun. So I wish I had a Scottish accent. The only thing I can say in Scottish accent is what I heard from William Wallace in Braveheart. He said, "Where are you going, William?" He said, "I'm going to pick a fight." So my children hear that a lot. "Where are you going, Mum?" "I'm going to pick a fight." I love that. So, okay, so a little bit of yellow, and you can see how much that yellow just makes it pop. And then I also just wanted to do something daring. So this is actually very pretty, right? So, but I wanted a little bit of dark contrast on there, so I'm going to experiment with a dark wash, that deep turquoise dark. Actually, to be honest with you, I don't know what color this is. I think it's the deep turquoise dark. I need to update my algorithm on my paint colors a little, but I just wanted a dark color. And this one I found, I have a whole box of ink, so for me it was kind of hard. And you can see my paintbrush is very wet, so I just wanted that color to flow. And I like the way that it looked on canvas. And then, so I'm very hesitant. You can see there, I'm like, that's okay. Then I decided that's enough. End of the story. I'm just going to leave it be and let it dry. Right, so now I'm on the end of now it's dry. And I'm just going to show you how to make your album. So if you want to go ahead and do that today, then tomorrow you can watch my insides video and then you can do that with me. So you need an awl, that pointy thing. There's my pages. And you need elastic cord. And you want to do it high. So I'm going to, there where I'm making my little marks, that's where I'm going to thread through my elastic cord either side of the middle, and then you want to make one little one in the middle. Now, eventually, first off, I wanted to try that leather strap, and don't do that. It's not going to work. You want something that is elastic. If you wanted to use something like that, you need to be able to tie it, and it's not easy to tie. So I won't recommend using a leather strap unless you want to make it a long one so that you can wrap it around. So in the end, this is not what you want to do. And by the way, I actually poked myself with that awl that it bled. I have it on camera. I might show you. But anyway, so no, that didn't work. And that's not what you want to use. See, I show you everything. These colors are the only colors that my local Michaels had that I can order online and pick up at the curb. And I decided to use this beautiful blue elastic cord, which is pretty. So now you just want to cut a piece that and then loop it through the middle, and then you just want to tie it. So with my shenanigans with the leather strap, I actually made that hole way too big. So I'm going to tie my my little blue cord, and I'm going to add a little paper clip so that, and then I'm going to tie it again, just so that it won't pull through that little hole, which is too big now because the leather strap was considerably, it was a lot thicker than this. So now I'm just measuring that my cord is about 4.5 inches long, or 4 inches long, just till the edge of my cover, and I'm just going to tie it again. Just want to make sure, because it stretches quite a bit, so it can actually go around it twice, so you can actually make it a little shorter even. But like I say, I'm terrible. I'm not a good planner. Okay, so now I'm convinced it won't pull through, and I'm just going to cut that, just make another knot, and now I'm just going to cut that piece off. So that's fine. You can use anything there to just keep it from pulling through, and I just decided to use a paper clip. Right, so now you can see it fits around it. Actually, it's a little big, but I thought to myself, if the album gets a little thicker, then it will be fine. And now you want to poke holes in the top about 1/2 inch apart. I will have the measurements of my album in the description as well. 8.5 inches, the cover, 8.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and or 21 centimeters by 21 centimeters. But when you cut the canvas, you want it to be a little bigger, so 9 inches by 9 inches or 23 inches by 23 inches. That's just the cover measurements. And then when you fold it over, it will measure 8.5 by 8.5. Right, so now you want to just cut cord double length of the album. So 8.5 times 2, about 17 inches. And then you just want to thread it through and tie it off on both sides. And that's where your little album is going to go through. To clarify, the insides of your little album, the inside pages that we'll make in the next video, or if you're watching this on Friday 8 May, you want to tune in on the 9th for a live chat. Okay, so I've done one, and here's just the other one. You just want to make it slightly bigger and put it in, and then you just want to tie it down. So it's not hard to do. You can actually tie it a little tighter than I did. Don't be concerned if your cover bundles up a little, because once you put the inside pages in, it stretches them out again. So it's a learning curve, and I'm sure when I make my second one, it will even be better. The other thing that I was thinking of, it will be so cute if you can put little okay, blonde moment, completely forgot the word. Eyelet, people, eyelet. It will be so cute if you can have a little eyelet on, you know, the where you can thread everything through. It will just make it neat. Those miniature ones, remember those from the scrapbooking days? Anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, never mind, carry on. But I knew some of you were screaming at the video, like, eyelets. Anyway, so you can see one is a little looser than the other one. And that's okay. I just decided to let it be, and it worked out great in the end. Just trim that a little shorter, and now you can slide in your little book, and the little string should be in the middle. So tomorrow we'll cut our pages for our inside pages, and I'll show you how to make those little booklets. So it's super simple. And then just the other one as well. Just going to slide it in, and voila, there's your little album all done. How cute. And you know, because it's acrylic paint, it's like your, oh, and I made it the wrong way around actually. It should be the other way around. Yeah, that's the back. And then I realized, oh, that's the back, that's the front. Oh yeah, let's just quickly realign the pages. So, but anyway, so tomorrow or the next video we'll do the inside pages, and those are a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing it, and it was a big mess, but it was a happy mess, and I can't wait to show you. So make your album cover today, and then you have, by the end of this weekend, you can have a little artist notebook like I have. So my thinking with this notebook is, the last week I've been reading some verses that really struck a chord in my heart, and I was actually contemplating putting up a big white paper on my door, the door of my bedroom, just to write them down. And then I had an idea, no, let me create this special little album just for that, just for what's happening right now in my life, and just to write it down. So I wanted lots of room to write, you know. So okay, so let's go through that. Let me clean up my desk, and here are the cover and the inside pages that I will show you how to monoprint. So I monoprinted every single thing. Nothing on these pages were painted on. Everything was done with monoprinting, even the words. So it's so much fun. It's so therapeutic, and I really hope that you will join me in the next video where I show you how we are going to do the inside pages and finish up our little album. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.